Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It's my first live here on YouTube. I've decided to do some graffiti in Krita. I've done so in some videos, but it was all sped up and you might not get much from it when I do things like 1000x speed. So that's why I thought I should take things slowly and explain what I'm doing as I'm doing in Krita. I won't be doing a full graffiti piece because it will take quite long to do a full piece. Instead, I'm going to do just one letter. I hope you can hear me well. If not, crank up the volume. Okay, so here we are in Krita. If you're not familiar with it, it's a free software. You can find it online, free download. It's a really good tool for digital painting. It has almost everything that Photoshop can provide, but a little more built especially for digital painting, instead of just for image manipulation. So what you want to do here, presumably you already have a sketch, is to load that sketch, import that sketch into your software. Or if you want to do the sketch by hand, then you can go for new file and set your width and height, resolution. I'm not going to do that for now. I already have a sketch in mind that I want to do one letter of. It's this one. It was pretty popular on the internet last week or 2 weeks ago, I'm not sure. Alright, if you want to work in Krita with your mouse, you're gonna have a really hard time. I mean, there are some actions that are easily done by mouse, even easier than with a graphic tablet, but some other actions will be really hard to do without a graphic tablet and a stylus pen. So I already have a graphic tablet. It's a Huion 610 Pro V2. I had a Wacom Bamboo, a really small one, and I couldn't do much with it. So this is my upgrade to that tablet, even though this one is also an entry level tablet. By all means, if you have money to buy a Wacom Intuos or any other expensive tablets, go ahead. But if you want budget, then this is really good. It's a good tablet, does the job. It's really sensitive. Alright, so as soon as you have your sketch, you might have a pencil sketch that you've taken a picture of with your phone, or you've scanned it. Either way, you can import it and then do the tracing of your letters. What I use for tracing my letters is this tool here, the Bezier curve tool, as opposed to the pen tool. I've tried that, but it's more for calligraphy, as it says here. The Bezier curve tool is pretty nice. It acts like a pen tool, a Photoshop pen tool, with some minor changes in terms of how you stop the line, and you stop it by shift and click. So you will see as soon as I will start tracing my letters. And this Bezier curve tool will define a line based on your brush settings. So you will first have to define your brush. I already have a brush preset, this one over here, it's PK line, so I'm gonna work with that. But if you want to start as a brush from scratch, then here's the place you can do it, next to your background and foreground thumbnails. Here you have another thumbnail that will pop this dialog box where you can check all sorts of and change all sorts of parameters to define your brush. Mine's pretty standard, pretty basic. It only has the size, a little bit of curve here, so it gets, you know, from thick to thin based on my pen pressure, and a little bit of strength with a double curve, so not much. And the size, well, if you need different sizes, what I did is I have this docker here with different sizes that I can easily pick instead of using this size over here, you know, because this is not very accurate. If I want an 8 pixel brush, then I'll just go to the quick settings docker. You can find it in settings, dockers, quick setting docker. And this is how I easily change my brush width, size, whatever. Alright, so without further ado, I will not go into explaining the interface in depth. It's fairly new to me as well, even though I am accustomed to graphic design softwares. They're alike, you know, they have similarities. So I will go for a 7 pixel brush. The color is black, as for now. I may decide otherwise later. Okay, so I wouldn't paint on my scanned artwork, so I will do a new layer, okay, which will be on top of my sketch, of course. And the main sketch, what I usually do is put down the opacity a little bit, you know, maybe also do another layer behind it, I mean underneath it, with a white background, white-ish, and hit backspace. Backspace fills the current layer with the background color, and my background color is white, my foreground is black, which I will use for brushing. Okay, so my main sketch layer, it's at 60%. I think that's enough for now, and locked, so I don't move it around or, you know, paint on it by mistake. This layer, maybe I'll name it outline. Okay, so I didn't mess with my settings, I mean with the program's settings just yet, I mean ever, because they work fine like they are as they are. The only thing I made custom are some keyboard shortcuts to make them more Photoshop-like because I'm so used to Photoshop's you know, shortcuts that it's really hard to get used to another set of shortcuts for every program that I learn. You know, there's, if you can see down here, there's a lot of programs that I work with. Every program has its own shortcuts. Sometimes it's hard to keep track. So the Bezier curve tool, I've assigned a Q, I think. Let me check. Yeah, the Q, and the shift Q is another Bezier curve, but this one is a Bezier selection tool. I think we will be using this later on. We will have to select things to separate when the coloring process will occur. Okay, I really like this C letter, so this is the one I'm gonna trace for now, for this session. I don't know, I may do another one tomorrow if this is not enough. Okay, so using my pen now, I'm describing the lines that follow my sketch, and each time there's a curved line, I go to, you know, the end of the line, just click and then drag, you know, to fit that exact curve. And then if you want to stop, you see, you can drag it, you can still drag it after you have defined your curve. By holding shift, you will stop the line at a certain point. Then from there on, it's basically the same process repeated. When there's straight lines, it's easier, you know, but you'll deal with a lot of curved lines also. There you go. Point, click, drag, click, click, and then when you feel like you're stuck, you stop the line and carry on from there. I'm stuck here, so whenever you need to delete a line, there's a erase button here that can also be triggered with the E shortcut on your keyboard. And if you have a Graffiti tablet, you will also have a button on your tablet for the eraser. But the erasing is quite tricky in Krita because it will erase based on the tool you have selected. So now I will erase with the Bezier tool. So I will define two dots here, and see, instead of making a line, it erases on that line. So with your eraser select, you can go to your brush then and you know, just normally erase with the brush, like, you know, I do these cuts, line thinners. And if I go, sometimes this happens and it's really annoying, but I forget, I just forget. Sometimes I just go back to my Bezier curve tool and start doing the lines, and I immediately notice that I'm on the erasing mode and I have to take the erasing button off and do the line, the curves again. And I'm like, ugh. Well, you get used to it. I suppose at some point you'll get used to it. I could never get used to it. This mechanism is not present in any other software. It's just Krita exclusive. Okay, following some lines here. Now, here my arrow is traveled by this part here, but I will ignore it for now and keep doing my arrow, and we'll erase the extra bit later. No. Okay, let's see now. It starts from here and goes here. Okay. This may take a while, but yeah, some of you wanted to know how I work in Krita for my graffiti videos, so you will have to bear with me because you asked for it. So don't you go ahead and complain now that's taking too long. I'm just kidding, guys. Just try to follow. I'm almost done with the outline, and we'll get to the coloring part, and I will also show you a few methods of doing the 3D, doing the selection, because for now you only have these lines, so no fill. You will have to fill these lines in a way that the filling is contained to the lines, not all over the place. Like, for example, if I go ahead and brush Ooh, what happened here? If I go ahead and try to brush within my outlines, I'm not sure this is a good idea, because then you will have to come back and just erase and redraw and erase, and there's a better method for this, trust me. But as soon as my lines will be closed, you know, I mean, there shouldn't be any open gaps, any gaps that can spill the color outside the letter, if that makes any sense. I know it does to me. If you have any graphic history, then you'll know what I mean. Just doing some minor touches here, and I will carry on with the lines. Let's see how. 3 people. Yes, I can hear you. That sketch is fire. Thanks, man. I'm really trying my best all the time. Okay, so Bezier tool, some other shortcuts that you will need in the process. There you go. I did it again. I'm in erasing mode. Jesus. So some other shortcuts that you will need. And now there's this. I've changed everything. So black foreground with 7 pixels brush. Eureka. So some other shortcuts. B is standard for brush. That's it. What else? Oh, there's also the V, which is pretty interesting. The V is basically the same, has the same effect, but you click and drag, click and drag, and there's your line. The Bezier, you point, click and point, and then drag if it's a curved line, or simply let go if it's a straight line. So there's also this alternative to doing straight lines with your V. V, bam. Nope, another one. Maybe I should zoom in more to see what I'm doing here. Okay. So the V is pretty helpful too, and it also does the lines based on your brush settings. So make sure you predefine that prior to, so before you start doing your outline. Okay. Here we have some curved ones, so back to the Bezier curve tool. In the whole process, I think that this is the main tool that I use, the Bezier. Other tools, oh no. Other tools are just, brushes. I have a soft brush for brush presets. Airbrush, yeah. An airbrush, soft for making gradients, making effects, And there's also, I don't know, a Q-tip brush. You see here, there's a Q-tip that you use for your ear. And this makes smudges, and it's good for blending colors. Really, really nice for blending colors. If you want to do realistic paintings or any other type of traditional artwork, then this blur blender is really helpful. Alright, so let's see what we have here. So my fastest erasing combo is EB. So E for eraser, B for brushing, and then I will start, erasing. I'm gonna fix that later. Oh, and this, this isn't supposed to be here. Well, unless I, change my mind regarding the design, the aesthetics. Then EV to draw a line. Q for my Bezier tool. But I think I'm done. Yeah. So, in my sketch I already have the 3D drawn, so I can trace that because it looks good. It has these, dents and other 3D extensions and tips. But there's another way that you can do it, and I'm not sure if you've seen this in my previous videos, but I've used it a lot. It could get a bit complicated, but you'll get the hang of it. So first, this is the selection, the move tool. You know, if you try to use this, it will say this tool only works on vector layers. You probably want the move tool. Do I? And this is the move tool, and this is the transform move tool. Anyway, let's center that. I mean, no. I still want it on top of my sketch, you know. Okay. Make a copy of it. Control D does not duplicate it. Okay, let's do it the old-fashioned way. Yep. Copy, and then drag that copy, I don't know, to the left, to the right, depending on where you have where you want your 3D to be. But I think this, so it doesn't get really confusing, would be a good step after you filled the letters. So I'll do this. So one way is to select this magic contiguous selection tool. Oh my god. In Photoshop it's called the magic wand, you know, and it looks like a magic wand. And alakazam, there you go. So by holding shift you'll add, you see the little plus there, so you will add stuff to your selection. I think the Alt key will remove things from your selection. There's a minus there, so shift to add, Alt to remove. Okay, so everything is in my selection, right? So this is one way. After you've done so, create another layer, move it underneath because you want your outline to be on top, right? Of course. And fill that with whatever. You can brush, you can fill it by defining a color in your background here. I don't know, what was it, a turquoise? Some sort of bluish greenish, just for the sake of example. So delete, backspace. But this will have some problems. So deselect it, deselect everything by doing the combination of Control Shift A, right? And you will see that there's this white pixels just you know, close to your outline. This is manageable. I'm gonna reselect this yeah, Control and click on the thumbnail of your layer that you want to select, and it will select what's in that layer. And after you've done so, go to select and grow selection, and I will grow it by 2 pixels or so. As you see now, the selection is a bit bigger, and we'll fill that again with my color, black space, and there you have it. It's a bit bigger, but the outline will cover the rest, you know. So this is one way of filling your letters, and it's a good thing that you can now have it selectable, and if you select it and then want to brush on in it in the selection, you know, like for instance, if you want to have a darker shade on the top or on the bottom, you can go ahead and brush it within the fill, and you will not have to worry about going over your outline. It's pretty neat, right? Okay, so let's say that this is my letter. You still there? Yeah. And I want to do 3D, right? What I usually do is make copies of the outline and the fill. Okay, merge those copies, merge with the layer below. Okay, so if I make these two invisible, I should only have, yeah, these in one piece. Okay, and well, I need these actually to be visible, so I can move this one like here or something. Okay, and just for this example, so it doesn't get really messy again, I'll make the freshly merged layer all black, you know, black space. This way it looks like a shadow, so if you want to do shadow, then there you have it. You can do it either so or by the layer properties. It has a drop shadow that you can blur, move around, but I use this method to do 3D. So after I've done so, I get my Bezier and just start connecting. Woo! Nice. So line. Again, Bezier takes my brush, so my brush was really big, soft, and blue. So let's go ahead and make it thin, black, and anyway. So start connecting corners. Some corners are already connected, to say so there's no point to connect this. For example, you will not see it anyway. And some lines you will not see, so you will probably want to make your fill a bit transparent, so you can, you know, oh my god, but where did I make that line? Not cool, man. It should be on either outline or a new layer. I think I'm gonna do it on a new layer, so I can better distinguish which is outline and which is 3D. Yeah. Okay, so again, my fill at 50%. On the new layer, I'll start connecting the corners with my Bezier. I forgot. Bezier, yes, curve tool. Jesus. It's a bit tricky with the curved lines again. You will just have to know these things and how how they go. I gotta have a sixth sense for this, I guess. Right. And all I have to do afterwards is just fill in the rest. So B for brush, I think I'm gonna go with a much, no, it's still no, there's a better way, but for now, 7. For now, this is how I figure things for myself. I'm just sharing just how I managed to trick the program basically into doing me 3D. So I think this is everything. There's a bit of a corner here, yeah. Okay, so moving this under my fill and then raising the opacity back to 100, it will be a lot easier for me to see how this is going to look. And it's going to look quite fine. And then with the magic wand, again, I can select and fill, well, not with blue. By the way, X changes the, you see here, changes the background and foreground. So if you're working with 2 colors, you can easily change between them with X. Okay, let's see. Yep, same thing happens. Sometimes I just go and brush over it, you know. It's a bit, it's more to work, but it wouldn't be much fun. Also, you can use the V tool, you know. It's a lot easier. And for the rest, whatever is inside the letters, you can easily fill, right? Like, choose a really huge brush and start filling those big areas. Almost everything. I wouldn't go with such a big brush on this part, for example. There may be other methods, I'm not sure what other people discovered, but this is one of the methods I apply, and it works fine. See? Now if you want to do some crazy stuff within the 3D, you know, like highlights and other lines, you will have to work more, but as soon as you have your 3D all figured, then it shouldn't be so hard, you know. but for now I will stick with the black 3D. Also this little corner here. Okay, and there's this part. So select it, fill it with black, and then correct it. Maybe in a future version of Krita they will fix this issue, although I know it's an issue with Photoshop as well when selecting, but yeah, Photoshop has a better selection system now, or algorithms, I don't know. Krita is missing some stuff, but all in all, you know, it's the best option if you want to keep it free. And there you have it. That's basically all I do to make my letters, and then, you know, I start retouching, refining, changing if needs changes, filling wherever my filling failed me, erasing whatever I went over a bit. But this is basically it. Now for an outline, there are some methods too. Let's combine everything, merge with the layer below. Okay, so now this is a whole piece, and properties. Oh no, not properties. Jeez, layer style. Yes, layer style and stroke. 21 pixels is a big stroke, so it will take a while. I hope my okay. Let's say 2 pixels, maybe 3 pixels, 4 pixels. Okay. Yeah, 4 pixels look nice. I don't know, orange? You like orange? Let's see. 100% opacity. Turn to orange already. Okay. Let's say I've decided that this is my outline. And for effects and highlights, I use Photoshop. So, because this Bezier curve tool doesn't have a pointy tip. I mean, the end of the line is always, was, you know, square. It doesn't get thicker as you would with pen pressure, you know. And Photoshop simulates that well. That's why I have to do these cuts by erasing. I wouldn't do that for highlights. It's a nuisance to do so, and it's better to do it in Photoshop. Maybe one day Krita will provide this also to simulate the pen pressure, but until then we will just use it for the good stuff that it provides as of yet. I'm not sure what else I can say to you right now about my process. This is basically everything I do. So I hope this has been helpful to you. If you want to use Krita for your graffiti or other types of art that you want to do, and if not, I'll try again tomorrow. Also, please leave some comments of, if you have questions regarding the tools or any type of questions, even personal questions if you want. Why not? I will do a Q&A for you live. That's no problem for me, and my life is not a mystery. So please consider subscribing. That's also a message you should give to your watchers in these live streams, right? I think so. So if you like this, please consider subscribing. I will provide my usual material. It's 100% graffiti related, and I am doing so twice a week. At least I try to. It's not really convenient these days to do twice a week due to some spine issues I get when I sit a lot at my computer. But I don't want to kill the mood now with my my back problems, and instead I will tell you to stay safe, stay at home, for a little while, because this will pass. I can guarantee you. I have a feeling that everything's gonna be alright. So hang in there, and if you like drawing, keep drawing. It's a good thing to do when you're home. So keep drawing, guys. Stay safe, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.